Come on over here.
Hey, what's the problem?
Come on over here. Hey, what's the matter? Jake Paul was just arrested for being careless with the law. Yes, you heard that right. The YouTuber turned boxer was about to have a huge fight with the famous Mike Tyson. There was a lot of excitement about this fight, and the stakes could not have been higher. Jake should have been working hard in the gym to improve his skills and get ready for the biggest challenge of his career, but instead he gets careless and gets in trouble with the law instead of throwing punches in the ring. Jake was out exploring the waters around New York, and let's just say that his fun activities got a little out of hand. Not only did the careless things he did on that surfboard put other people in danger, but they also put his whole future at risk. You could almost hear the sound of his fight dreams breaking with each click of the handcuffs. As for the fight, it's pretty much over for the promoters, the fans, and even Mike Tyson himself, because Jake couldn't keep himself in check. Let's break it down now and get to the details of Jake Paul's arrest, because this is where things get crazy. Instead of keeping his head in the game and focusing on the fight of his life with the legendary Mike Tyson, Jake lost it. Jake was in New York partying like there was no tomorrow. Picture this: Jake has the biggest fight of his career coming up in a few weeks, but he's out here popping bottles, partying on yachts, and showing off his lifestyle on the ground, while Tyson is probably in the gym throwing punches like a machine. Meanwhile, the problem child is out there playing in the water like it's spring break, and things got really out of hand. It wasn't just Jake relaxing by the water, he was going full speed on a surfboard and tearing through the water of New York like he could not be stopped.
Hey, bro.
What?
Oh,
Hey, man.
let's go, baby.
Let's stop the bomb.
DW.
But here's the kicker: Jake was pulling off stunts and tricks zipping around restricted areas like the rules didn't apply to him. Seriously, it was like he forgot there were consequences to this kind of behavior, but trust me, the consequences came, and they came hard. The police were watching Jake, and when the report started coming in about his reckless behavior, they decided enough was enough. And guys, when you're a celebrity like Jake Paul, the last thing you want is to get caught breaking the law in broad daylight. But Jake wasn't thinking about that. He was too busy putting on a show for his followers. And that's when things went south. The police rolled up on their boat, sirens blaring, and let me tell you, Jake's day of fun came to a screeching halt. You could almost see the moment it hit him that he'd messed up. The officers weren't playing around. They ordered him to stop, and when they got close enough, they didn't care that he was Jake Paul. They saw someone breaking the law, and they were ready to make an example out of him. Jake was yanked out of the water, and within minutes the cuffs were on. Yeah, you heard that right, Jake Paul in handcuffs getting led off the lake by the cops. Imagine the scene what started as a party atmosphere around the water turned into dead silence as people watched the whole thing go down. Cameras were everywhere, phones were out, and within seconds the video started flooding the internet. They've been making all the buzz in the fight world ever since, and of course social media went off the rails. Jake Paul arrested is trending, and the internet did what it does best, making the whole situation into a meme factory. People are roasting Jake left and right, with some saying it was about time he got put in his place, while others couldn't believe their eyes. But one thing is for sure, Jake's carefree attitude has finally caught up with him. This isn't just some minor run-in with the law. This is a full-blown scandal that can wreck everything Jake's been building in his boxing career. His team is scrambling to do damage control, but let's be real, the damage is done.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. This is an opportunity.
But here's the craziest part, and the thing that's got everyone shaking their heads. Jake had the biggest fight of his career coming up, and instead of being laser focused on that, he was out here living it up like there wasn't a famous about on the horizon. We're talking about a fight with Iron Mike Tyson, the man, the myth, the legend, and let's be real, this is nothing like the fights Jake's been used to up until now. Jake's been stepping into the ring with washed-up retired MMA fighters, ex-NBA players, and social media personalities. Yeah, they might have put up a decent fight, but let's not kid ourselves, those guys are no match for a prime boxer. Take Ben Askren, for example. The guy was a beast in the MMA world, but when he stepped into the ring with Jake, he looked more like he was there to collect a paycheck than to actually fight. And we all remember Nate Robinson, right, a former NBA star who had zero boxing experience before Jake knocked him out cold. These weren't real tests of Jake's skills, they were more like warm-up matches, and Jake knew it. The only real boxer Jake has faced is Tommy Fury, and we all know how that went down. Tommy handed Jake the first loss of his career, exposing just how much more Jake needed to work on if he wanted to be taken seriously in the boxing world. And now Jake's set to go up against Mike Tyson, the same Mike Tyson who's taken down some of the biggest names in the sport. Let's be real, this is a whole different ball game. Mike Tyson is a living legend. This is the guy who became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at just 20 years old, knocking out Trevor Berbick to win the WBC title. Tyson's list of victims reads like a who's who of fighting greats: Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks, Frank Bruno. The list goes on. For Jake to step into the ring with someone like Mike Tyson, he should have been in the gym day and night, perfecting every part of his game. We're talking about honing his footwork, working on his head movement, sharpening his jab, And building up the stamina to go toe-to-toe with a legend. This isn't a fight where you can just count on your natural talent or the fact that you've knocked out a few guys who weren't real boxers. This is a fight where every single flaw in Jake's technique would be exposed if he's not careful. Jake should have been spending hours in the ring, sparring with top-tier talent, studying tapes of Tyson's fights, and preparing for the kind of power and aggression that only someone like Mike can bring. But instead of taking it seriously, Jake was out there risking it all for a few moments of fun in the sun. Now let's get one thing straight. If you think Mike Tyson is old and sluggish just because he's pushing 60, you better think again. The man is 58 years old, but he's still got that raw, devastating power that made him a legend in the first place. We're talking about a guy who even in his 50s can throw a punch with the same force that put so many of his opponents to sleep in their prime. Mike's not just coasting on past glories, he's been putting in the work, and it shows. His stamina better than ever. The man can go rounds and he's not even breaking a sweat. And have you seen his physique lately? It's like the guy hasn't aged a day. Mike's looking jacked with muscles that could rival those of guys half his age. Seriously, it's hard to believe he's nearing 60 when you see how shredded he is. And those training videos that have been making the rounds on the internet, they tell you everything you need to know. Mike's still an absolute beast. He's hitting the pads with the same ferocity, the same speed, and the same precision that made him the most feared fighter of his era.
Stay tuned. I'm getting ready for you.
What? But it's not just about the power, although trust me, that's still very much there. Mike's got a fight IQ that's off the charts. The man has spent decades in the ring facing off against some of the biggest names in the sport, and he's taken down opponents with every single punch in the boxing guide. His left hook, his uppercut, his overhand right, Tyson's used them all to devastating effect, and he's got the knockouts to prove it. He knows the sport inside, side, and out, and he's got the kind of ring intelligence that you only get from years of experience at the highest level. And that's something Jake can't compete with, especially when he's wasting his days away at the lake. These two were supposed to be gearing up for the clash of the eras on November 15th, 20,124 at the At-T Arena, but with Jake's recent antics, the fight's off the table. This was the showdown everyone had been waiting for, with tickets selling like hotcakes the moment they went live. The hype was real because this was supposed to be Tyson's first major return to the ring since his iconic comeback fight with Roy Jones Jr. back in 2020. The excitement was through the roof, especially after that electrifying press conference between Mike and Jake in New York City on August 18th. The tension, the trash talk, the face-off, it all took the anticipation to a whole new level. Fans were placing bets, hyped to see the legendary Mike Tyson back in action, and wondering if Jake Paul had what it took to go toe-to-toe with one of the greatest of all time. But now, thanks to Jake's irresponsible decisions, it's all gone up in smoke. And here's the thing, was this arrest really just a mistake on Jake's part, or did he deliberately mess with the law to get out of the bout? It's a question that's got everyone talking. Jitters are a real thing, and who knows if the pressure of facing a legend like Tyson got to Jake. Whatever the case, Jake has disappointed fans, ruined what could have been an epic moment in boxing history, and left everyone wondering what could have been. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. So what are your thoughts on Jake Paul getting arrested after his reckless behavior? Make sure to fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.